Okay, so time to do our quick check-in on our grocery haul for this week. If you've listened before, you know that we basically stick to a $150 budget per week. I do one shopping trip, so this is everything we will purchase during the week for groceries. We don't run out and get extra stuff at all. We have a family of 5, which is basically really almost like 5 adults because we have 3 teenagers in the house and 2 adults. So this feeds our family of 5. We do $150 a week. I initially tried to do 125, and I was just never able to hit that number. And I plan a lot. I really try everything. So we're just sticking with 150. It works for us. So this week I went to Aldi and BJ's like I always do. Hopefully once things get back to normal after this pandemic is over. I'm recording this during the coronavirus pandemic. I probably will throw in ShopRite again. I used to run to ShopRite really quick before I hit Aldi and BJ's because they have like a clearance section, and a lot of times I could just pick up a couple of things there and I would actually just swap them out on my meal plan. Like say if, for example, we were doing like, I don't know, hamburgers on the grill one night, and maybe Aldi had like some really inexpensive like steaks or something, like super cheap on clearance or whatever. I might grab those and be like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to buy the hamburger meat. I'm going to buy this. It's cheaper. And I would actually go into my meal plan while I was in the store because I have the app on my phone and just kind of swap it out real quick. So I used to be able to save extra money doing that too. Or I would find things, you know, other like fruits or just different things that they might have on clearance that I could grab and like replace something else that I was going to purchase. But I haven't been doing that now just because of the situation, and I'm trying just to kind of get in and out of the stores quickly. So I've just been doing my Aldi and BJ's. So anyway, that 150, just to clarify, it does include all like toilet paper, paper towels, laundry detergent, dish detergent. Like it includes all those like consumable type things that you would purchase for your house. So I went to Aldi. I spent $95.55. I did get, that's kind of a little on the high side for what I usually spend at Aldi, but not too bad, maybe just slightly higher. I did wind up getting a ribeye steak there that was like $10. I got flounder fillets that we haven't tried before. It's like a frozen bag of individual flounder fillets, and I thought my husband might be able to, like I might be able to take out like maybe 2 of those for my husband. And because he's like home in the day. Well, we're all home in the day mostly now, but like in the normal situation, he could maybe make himself like a flounder sandwich or something like that. So we're going to try those. It was only like I think it was like $4.39 for like a bag. I think it was like a pound, and they were like individually frozen and wrapped. And I did get a package of chicken thighs. I think it was like maybe about 2 pounds or so, maybe slightly more. It was $4.58. So I am getting meat, I'm getting vegetables, I'm getting all the normal stuff within, you know, these weekly shopping trips. And I did get something for my kids, for the girls actually. They had this drink there called Sparkling Frost. It was 49 cents each. I got them 1 each for a treat. It's kind of like that, like I think it's called like ice, sparkling ice, or I forget. It's like this drink you always see at like Target or whatever stores where you shop. It's kind of like a skinny bottle, and they have like different fruit flavors. It's like a sparkling water kind of thing. So I don't normally get stuff like that. That's actually one of the big savings areas, is I really don't buy drinks. Like occasionally I'll get like juice for like a treat, but mostly we drink water. We do eat fruit, but we really don't drink like juices and sodas and even seltzer water. I used to always buy seltzer water. I really love it, but it was adding up, and I'm really at this point in our life trying to really stick to this budget. At some point I will definitely loosen up on that a little bit and get some of those more types of items, and maybe different other, like maybe a more expensive cut of meat here or there or whatever, things like that. But right now we're really trying to stick to this budget. So those are the types of things that I cut out. So, oh, you know what too was so weird? Like I might have mentioned this last time, but they still don't have like diced tomatoes. And I don't know if that's everywhere, if it's just at Aldi, but they haven't had diced tomatoes in weeks. And I really needed them for a recipe for vegetarian chili that I'm making because my one daughter's vegetarian. So they didn't have diced tomatoes last time. I was able to get the diced tomatoes with green chilies at least, which was fine for the recipe I was making because it was like a chili. But now they didn't even have those. And the one thing I found was like this chili starter, and it was like crushed tomatoes with diced tomatoes and some seasonings and stuff. So I don't know. I bought 2 cans of that. We'll see how it is. But I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to try and figure out how to replace that meal. I guess I could have bought more tomatoes and diced them up myself, but I don't know, when you're making a recipe that just calls for 2 cans of diced tomatoes, you just kind of want to dump them in and move on. So anyway, yeah, that was weird. Oh, and they haven't had pie crust either. I used to get like the pre-made pie crust, like the refrigerated kind that comes in the box and you like kind of unroll it. I used to always get that at Aldi. They haven't had that either. I wanted to make my daughter a vegetable pot pie for like a side. It was kind of like for my daughter to eat for her meal, but then like a side dish for us for, I forget what meal I was going to make it with. But I wasn't able to get that. So I'm going to have to figure out something else, whatever night I had that on the meal plan. And then I also wanted to get corn on the cob, but I guess it's not in season yet. So they only had like this little like 4-pack of corn, and it was kind of like the husks were already taken off, except for like on the back end, like kind of like for decorative purposes, I guess. So they had like kind of like 4 little ears of corn with the ends chopped off in like a package, and it was like $3.50. I don't remember exactly what fresh corn cost, but I thought it was really cheap. That seemed really expensive to me. So what I wound up doing is that was going to be with a ribeye steak. So they had like a bag of like fresh green beans for like $1 something. I forget, maybe like $1.50 or whatever. So I wound up buying those instead, and I'm going to swap that out for the corn. So I'll just do like fresh green beans in the air fryer, and we can have that with the steak. So those types of things all help too. Like if you were planning on purchasing something for a certain amount and you find out that it winds up being much more expensive than you thought, just kind of make a quick edit in the grocery store and see if you can find something else to swap it out with that's much cheaper. So anyway, after I was done at Aldi, I went to BJ's. And I really only needed a couple of things at BJ's because I did wind up getting almost everything at Aldi this time. I did need toilet paper this week though, so I got like the big package at BJ's, so that was like $17. And I also needed a coffee. Like we buy like the big plastic like Folgers container. I think it looks like on the receipt it says 51 ounces. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'm just reading the name off the receipt, so I'm not 100% sure, but it's like kind of like a pretty big container. It's like about a little over $9. So I did get that, and then I just got like milk, and I bought canned chicken, like you make like chicken salad sandwiches with, because we needed tuna, but they were completely out of like the type of tuna that we normally get. And so I called my son and I was like, do you want to make chicken salad sandwiches? And he's like, oh, I've never had that before, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So I bought him a thing of chicken, the canned chicken. So I wound up spending $39.16 at BJ's. So my total for this week came to only $134.71. So we definitely made the budget. So I was really excited about that. I do want to point out though that, some weeks we didn't need to buy a lot of meat. Like this week I didn't need to buy a lot of meat because I still had a lot of chicken left over from chicken I purchased last week. Or sometimes I'll buy I do like ground chicken, I buy like a package. It's kind of like about $10. I think you get like maybe around 3 pounds or a little over 3 pounds or whatever. And I like divide that into 3s and I use that to make tacos. So like purchasing that one time, it's going to make 3 meals. So I'm not always needing to buy all of the meat for the current week. So some of it I did already have, but it works out well like that because since this week I didn't need to buy a lot of meat, I did wind up needing to buy that toilet paper and the coffee and those other things that were more expensive. So it kind of offset. On the same hand, I think I've mentioned before, on things like the toilet paper, the coffee and things like that, I always put it on my list before we truly need it right away. I kind of get it a little bit in advance, kind of like a backup. That way, say if this week I did need to buy a lot of meat, I would just say, okay, well, I'm going to not buy the toilet paper this week because we still have plenty for at least like a couple weeks, 2 weeks, say. And I'll buy the meat this week, and then probably I won't need to buy as much meat next week, and I'll get the toilet paper then. So I kind of you know, kind of work with it like that. And don't be discouraged if you don't come in at your budget at first. It took me a really long time to get it down. And like I've mentioned before, meal planning is the key. If you don't know what you're going to buy, there's really no real way you can kind of estimate what you're going to spend. I mean, you can have a rough idea, but if you're really trying to stay within a budget, you really kind of need to specifically know what you're going to be buying at the food store and roughly what the prices are. So give it a shot. I hope this is encouraging to you. I was really excited we came in slightly under budget. I will continue to share weekly. If you're interested in hearing it, I'd love to get some feedback. I have a Facebook page at facebook.com/Lola's Frugal Life. You can send me a message there. You can post a comment. I'd really love to get some feedback on topics that you'd like to hear, or if you'd like me to present this information in a different way, or if I've presented it enough and you're like, okay, we don't need to hear this every week. But I just thought it might be kind of fun to share every week, and you know, different things come up and just kind of talk about different tips and stuff, and hopefully keep you motivated to stay in your grocery budget, because it is one of the most I don't know how to say it, but it's basically like one of the biggest areas that you have control over in your budget. You know, utilities are what they are. Gas, you usually kind of have to spend what you have to spend based on where you travel. But the grocery budget, I have found, has made such a huge impact in our budget, because it's something that I can really, really work on and try and get it down as low as possible and make different changes. So anyway, contact me on Facebook. I also do have a private listeners group. I would really love for you to join. I'd like to build a little community there where we can talk about different topics on frugality, on productivity, anything like that that I love to talk about, cleaning, everything. So if you'd like to join the group, you can access that. There's a link on the Facebook page. Otherwise, you can go directly to the group page and submit a request to join. That's at facebook.com/groups/Lola's Frugal Life. So I would love to hear from you. And thank you so much for listening. I hope you have an awesome day.